Good evening and welcome to this evening's broadcast. And this evening, I have got some things that happened in history in September, and I've got some positive news stories um, for this evening. So sit back, relax. Hope everyone is blessed and doing well. I can't believe we're almost through September already. It's crazy, crazy that we're almost through already. So anyway, um, it's good to be back. Always good to be back with you. And we just finished up the Gospel of Luke, and that was inspiring. That was just a blessing to do that. And not sure where we're going to go from there next, but we are going to pick another topic for our Bible group. So, but this evening, I've got some news and got some news. And like I said, things that happened in history in September. So, um, I don't know really much, nothing new. Where to start? Where to even start? NFL kicked off. I'm getting less and less interested in the NFL. The rules, the calls, and the name changes because of political correctness. Everything is getting just pretty ridiculous. I don't know about anyone else feels the same way. Anybody else feels the same way? Um, it's pretty ridiculous. So, and I was I was at a restaurant not too long ago, and I seen one of those robot servers that they do by remote that brings your food to your table. So maybe that's just a matter of time before we start seeing robots bring your food and there be no more waitresses. I don't know. And then we were at the store, a wholesale store, and a floor machine, a ride on floor machine, was hooked up to a computer and was cleaning on its own. Nobody was on it. And it was like that. It was like that vacuum like at home you get, and you program it, and it memorizes the store, I guess, or your home, whatever. Same concept, but it was a ride-on floor cleaner scrubber. No one on it. It was run remotely, probably, or by programmed in a computer. No one was riding it. It would beep when it would back up. If it would hit something, it would back up and move around it. Pretty, yep. One less job for somebody, I guess. One less job. One less job for somebody, I guess. And if it's like, is that what our our work environments coming to? Is robots are finally going to take over? Finally take over, and finally going to take over. Finally take over. Self-destruct sequence activated. So, you know, so anyway, it's getting pretty. This won't move. I don't know why it's not moving. So anyway, I just don't know. I just don't know anymore. Just don't know.
You have got to be kidding.
No.
You have got to be kidding.
No, we're not. So anyway, I'm just going with it. So anyway, that's all I got. That's all. That's all I got. I just what's going on in this world is just pretty jacked up. I'm sorry. Make a choice. Accept God and Jesus Christ as your Savior. You know. So anyway, don't give in and don't follow the world agenda. That's for sure. So that's it won't work, folks. It's not going to work. So anyway, without further ado, here's some stuff that happened in September as far as history. All right. So anyway,
in a world where you can become anything, challenge accepted.
Theodore Roosevelt makes the famous line of "Speak softly and carry a big stick." And A Trip to the Moon is the first sci-fi film ever released. And the first supermarket, the Piggly Wiggly, is opened in Clarence Saunders in Memphis, Tennessee. And William Walmsley and William Lyons officially find the Swallow Sidecar Company, which later becomes Jaguar, in Blackpool, England. Yeah. Let's do this. Yeah. And a magnitude 7.9 earthquake strikes Tokyo and Yokohama in Japan. The first nonstop airplane flight from Europe to US. 37 hours. 37 hours. And the U.S. Housing Authority created by the National Housing Act, which enables, I believe, you cannot be turned down for a house or apartment because of disabilities or your ethnic race or anything like that. You cannot be turned down to rent a house or an apartment or a mobile home, whatever. Okay. And the Great Smoky Mountains National Park is opened. And the first network detective series, Private Eyes, premieres. And Beetle Bailey comic strip debuts. Let's see. And Hurricane Carol strikes Long Island and New England. And the Ford Motor Company introduces the Edsel automobile. And Elvis records White Christmas and Silent Night and Here Comes Santa Claus. And the National Defense Education Act was signed, and that was the NDA was passed in response to Soviet acceleration of the space race with the launch of satellite Sputnik. And the law provided federal funding to ensure trained manpower of sufficient quality and quantity to meet the national defense needs of the United States. And the Huckleberry Hound Show, Hanna-Barbera, featured Yogi Bear premieres on TV. And the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio is opened. The Wilderness Act, signed into law by President Lyndon B. Johnson, it created the legal, let me move this, definition of wilderness in the United States and protected 9.1 million acres of federal land. And NASA launches its first orbital geophysical observatory. And the Beatles' single Help goes to #1 for 3 weeks. And Sweden begins driving on the right-hand side of the road. And that was in 1967. An earthquake destroys Firdows, if I pronounced that right, and Persia, wiped it out. And the first automatic teller machine in the United States is installed in Rockville Center, New York. And Bill Haley and the Comets reject $30,000 for a 15-day tour of Australia. And that was 1970. Bill Haley turned down 30 grand. Why? I never looked it up. And check this out, 1972, The Price is Right debuts. 1972. And President Ford signs the Employee Retirement Income Security Act. The Employee Retirement Income Security Act of 74. It's a U.S. federal tax and labor law that establishes minimum standards for pension plans in private industry. It contains rules on the federal income tax effects of transactions associated with employee benefit plans. Not sure what all that means. Sorry. And in 76, NASA launches the space vehicle S-197. And the Viking 2 lands on Mars. And Jim Henson's The Muppet Show premieres. And Mia Farrow, Rosemary's Baby, Woody Allen movies, you all know who Mia Farrow is. 1976. 1977, NASA launches the Voyager 1 on a mission to initially just fly by Jupiter and Saturn, and then later Uranus and Neptune, and it becomes the first human man-made object to leave the solar system in 2012. In 2012, it finally left the solar system.
Wow.
So from 77 to 2012, it took that long to leave our solar system, I guess. However, whatever, going around and orbiting these, 4 planets. And in 1979, the LA court orders Clayton Moore to stop wearing the Lone Ranger mask.
You suck, you jackass.
LA court, way to go. Way to go.
You are one pathetic loser.
And in 1982, max speedometer reading is mandated at 85 miles per hour. And the United States Air Force Space Command is founded, which later is, I guess, Space Force. So it's always been around. I mean, NASA, but it's always been around, sort of. And it's really nothing new, but I think they, I don't know. In 1986, NASA launches the DoD-1. In 1995, New York reinstates the death penalty, which is interesting. And the Soyuz TM-22 is launched. The Endeavour 9 is launched. In 1998, Google is formally incorporated by Larry Page and Sergey Brin, and they were 2 students at Stanford University. In 1999, a 5.9 magnitude earthquake rocks Athens, rupturing a previously unknown fault.
Wow.
And Microsoft, in 2013, Microsoft purchased Nokia for $7.2 billion.
Wow. Absolutely incredible.
And in 2015, Earth's trees number just over 3 trillion, according to a study in Nature. So, how did they count the number of trees? So, by photography from the planes, and it pretty much picked up every single tree or something like that. I maybe look that up, check that out. In 2017, Hurricane Irma becomes the most powerful hurricane ever recorded in the Atlantic Basin region. Winds up to 185 miles per hour.
Wow. Absolutely incredible.
Man. And in 2018, the FBI recovered a pair of Dorothy's ruby slippers from the Wizard of Oz that were stolen 13 years earlier. Wow. I'm surprised they didn't sell on the black market for millions or billions or whatever. And I don't even know how many actual pairs of slippers she had. Either, maybe she had more than one for the movie. I don't know. Have to look that up too. And in 2021, Texas law banning most abortion after 6 weeks come into effect. And in 2022, the Lord of the Rings TV series, The Rings of Power, premieres on Amazon Prime Video. And Joe Biden gives the hate speech against the Trump supporters with the magma whatever in front of Philadelphia's Independence Hall. Regardless, whatever you want to call it, I call it a hate speech.
Find out how you can help at support.kdhx.
From Mega, whatever.
All right, you're listening to 88.
You're pretty much threatened.
KDHX St. Louis.
Threatened
Essence of the Tribes.
by our
Kiowa Cat. And you're
okay.
listening to American Indian
Discovery
music,
of the earliest evidence of
traditional
surgery
and
from
contemporary.
31,000-year-old skeleton with amputated lower leg in a cave in East Kalimantan, Borneo. And in 2023, India successfully launches its first spacecraft, the Aditya L1, to study the sun.
Come out and see that, it's pretty big. 8 a.m. to 12
And
p.m.
Theodore Roosevelt is sworn in as the youngest U.S. president.
Also,
The mounted police is first used in New York City in 1904. In 1908, Orville Wright makes the first one-hour airplane flight at Fort Myer, Virginia. In 1913, the Lincoln Highway opens as first paved coast-to-coast highway across the United States. And in 1930, the first appearance of the comic strip Blondie. And American inventor Richard Gurley Drew creates Scotch tape. 1930. And in 1945, the first bug in a computer program is discovered by Grace Hopper, and it was a moth that was removed with tweezers from a relay and taped into the log. Yeah, so that's, I guess, where we come up. Oh, there's a bug in the computer. Well, literally, it was a bug. It was a moth. Crazy. And Mike the Headless Chicken is decapitated in Fruita, Colorado. And it survives for 18 months before choking to death.
Wow.
I'm not making this stuff up. I'm not making this stuff up. Mike The headless chicken was decapitated in Fruita, Colorado. Survives for 18 months and then choked to death. Oh, I'm not, I need to look that one up. In 1950 is the first use of TV laugh track. The Hank McCune Show, which for me, a laugh track was the worst thing, was the worst. Because now, if you watch a TV show, okay, someone can say 2 or 3 words that technically really aren't funny, and you'll hear like a segment of a laugh. That is a laugh track. Nobody's laughing at that. I mean, even if there was a studio audience, what do you got? Cue cards to laugh and clap and no, and that's what a laugh track for years since 1950 is to simulate laughter when nothing is technically really funny. 1952, Ernest Hemingway's novel The Old Man and the Sea is published, which was a good movie, and I can't remember who starred in that. Very good movie, though. 1953, Swanson sells its first TV dinner. Yeah. Let me get back to my page.
Wow. Absolutely incredible.
The first TV dinner, 1953. In 1956, IBM introduces the RAM AC 305, and it's the first commercial computer with a hard drive that uses magnetic disk storage. In 1959, the Luna 2 is launched. In 1966, the National Traffic and Motor Vehicle Safety Act is signed into law by Lyndon Johnson, empowered the federal government to set and administer new safety standards for motor vehicles and road traffic safety. The act was the first mandatory federal safety standards for motor vehicles. 1967, the Surveyor 5 is launched. In 1974, Evel Knievel attempts to jump the Snake River Canyon in Idaho, which millions and billions of people, I remember probably watching that. I watched it and I kicked myself for my toys because I had an Evel Knievel, I had the motorcycle, I had him, and I had his rocket. I know. I wish I would have saved all my old toys. I'd probably be retired. I wouldn't need to work. 1975, the Viking 2 Mars probe is launched. And in 1977, Jimmy McCulloch quit Wings. And from what I heard, Paul McCartney wasn't really thrilled about it. He wasn't too happy about it. And I heard some things about Jimmy McCulloch. He pretty much led a rock star life. Watched a documentary. He dated a lot of models. He was a young, good-looking kid, guitar player. And Linda, from what I understand, kind of tried to play mom too much. And he, didn't see eye to eye with that and things like that. So she didn't approve of his rock and roll lifestyle with women and on tour and whatever. But anyway, watch and see if that's, And the Atari 2600, originally known as the Atari Video Computer System, is released. And the first TV viewer discretion warning is for a TV show Soap, which I watched. I was 10. 1977 Soap with Bert, The guy with the puppet, Billy Crystal. Yeah, yeah. Was it Richard Mall? I think his name was. I forgot. I can't remember, but it pretty much pressed the envelope on a lot of political, social things, all kinds of stuff. Soap. In 1983, NASA launched the RCA 6. In 1985, Super Mario Brothers game comes out. In 1991, the Space Shuttle Discovery 14 is launched. And 1992, NASA launched the Endeavour 2. Mae Jemison is the first African American woman to go into space. Cool. Very cool. 1992. 1994, the Space Shuttle Discovery 20 is launched. In 1997, Discovery buys Travel Channel for $20 million.
Wow. Absolutely incredible.
Did not know that. Discovery bought the Travel Channel for $20 million. And in 2012, Apple launched the iPhone 5 and the iOS 6. And 2015, they unveiled the iPad Pro and the iPhone 6S. And in 2016, giraffe DNA study published in Current Biology reveals there are 4 species of giraffes.
Wow.
I thought there was just the one. But there's 4 species of giraffes. Did not know that. In 2017, Apple comes out with the iPhone X, which cost about $1,000, and the iPhone 8. In 2019, Typhoon Foxy, makes landfall near Tokyo, Japan, with winds up to 130 miles an hour.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's some stuff that happened in the month of September. Interesting stuff, interesting stuff. A lot of interesting things happened in September. Yeah. All right. So it's also it's cool to learn about things that has been around before we were even born in the early 1900s. A lot of stuff, that was around that we think is new or we think something is, and it's not. It's been around for years. You know, so nothing's you know didn't realize so much was that old and came out. So I've got some news stories, positive news stories. That's all I do. The alternative to your 4D news on your social media. Death, destruction, depression, and division news. Nothing positive. But here, it's positive on the most part. So let's get into some news.
8. Ignition sequence has started. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We have commit and we have liftoff at 2:13.
All right. Only positive news. Positive news. Nothing negative. Too many people are doing good things, and there's angels among us, and we don't even know it, that help and do good for people. For people. You never hear about it. So anyway, our first story. Child's Lemonade Stand raises $17,000 for victims of the Maui wildfires. All right. So, a 5-year-old's lemonade stand has managed to raise an astonishing $17,000 to aid the victims of the devastating wildfires that have recently swept through Maui in Hawaii. Edison Eddie Jewell overheard his parents watching news reports on the tragedy, and when Eddie shared the idea of starting a lemonade stand similar to the one he had seen on previous trip to Colorado and donating all the money to support victims of the wildfires, the stand ran from 10 a.m. to 6 and raised $8,000 in one day. The lemonade sold for $1 each, but most people gave $5, $10, $20 bills as part of their donation. And many people donated online through Venmo. And so by the end of the week that he had the lemonade stand, he raised over $17,000, and that far exceeded that's God working there. Amen. Yeah, definitely. And a 93-year-old woman spends her time crafting dog beds for local animal shelters. A 93-year-old woman from San Antonio has been devoting her golden years to crafting comfortable and cozy dog beds for local animal shelters. Every day, Joan Potter spends hours carefully sewing high-quality dog beds from fabric scraps left over from the Greater San Antonio Quilting Guild. And she was quoted as saying, "I just am happy to do it for them and to know that some dog is going to be comfortable. It makes me feel so good to know that they're not going to be laying on cement or a hard floor in the winter." Potter's cuts up rags for days and uses them to stuff the beds. And volunteers from local churches occasionally help her with the sewing and deliveries. And she makes around 30 to 40 dog beds a month. 93-year-old woman. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we should be hearing in the news. This is what the news should be for me, And Fort Worth Zoo makes history with the endangered crocodile birth, and the Fort Worth Zoo has proudly announced the birth of a rare and endangered species, the gharial crocodile, and it's also known as fish-eating crocodile, and it's among the longest of all the living crocodilians. It was well adapted to catching fish because of it's got a long, narrow snout and 110 interlocking teeth. I think Jaws is ferocious. And the population has declined drastically since the 1930s and has been listed as critically endangered since 2007. The Fort Worth Zoo is the only institution in the U.S. to have produced multiple offspring. And in the wild, it is estimated that only about 200 reproducing adults remain. And of the 35 gharial crocodiles living in U.S. zoos, 4 in the care of the Fort Worth Zoo, including 1 male and 3 females. And the new hatchlings were produced from 2 different females. Awesome. And Texas becomes the first state to ban transgender treatment surgeries on minors. It's a hot topic. It's an opinion, and everybody has one. For me, it should not be done on minors. You at least have to start. You can legally start treatments when you're 18. I don't know. It's just me. A Texas district judge ruled that the law banning the medical transition of minors violated the rights of transgender children, as well as the alleged rights of doctors who followed a well-established, evidence-based medical guidelines. After the judge issued a temporary injunction, Texas officials immediately appealed to the state Supreme Court, the highest court for civil cases in the state. The order from the Supreme Court lifting the injunction provided no further explanation as to the constitutional reasoning behind the decision. Though a full hearing on the law and the lower court's ruling is expected soon, though. They're still fighting it. That's why that's the division. Anyway, the American Civil Liberties Union, which filed the lawsuit against the law, called the Texas Supreme Court's decision cruel.
You are one pathetic loser.
You suck, you jackass.
Way to go to the ACLU. So minors who identify as transgender in the Lone Star states will no longer have access to hormone therapies, puberty blockers, and transition surgeries. Minors who have already started transitioning will be required to wean off their current regimen in a medically appropriate manner. Amen. That's, So 2,000 African rhinos got rescued in a major purchase and rewilding project. The African Parks has announced the purchase of the world's largest population of privately owned white rhinos. The nonprofit conservation organization plans to rewild the rhinos to safe and well-managed protected areas across Africa. South African rhino breeder John Hume puts his $2,000 rhino up for auction in April due to financial stress. Having failed to receive any bids, the rhinos were facing serious risk of poaching and fragmentation. African Parks, a private Johannesburg-based conservation that manages 22 protected areas, said that it had stepped in as a new owner of the world's largest private captive rhino breeding operation. The Platinum Rhino Project, a 7,800 hectare property in Northwest Africa Park's goal is to rewild the 2,000 rhinos and their future offspring. And it's estimated to be about 100 a year, so over the next 10 years. And once returned to protected areas across Africa, the rhinos will contribute to wild ecosystems by providing nutrient cycling, storing carbon, and increasing tourism revenue to the locals. And Israel archaeologists hail sensational find of 4 Roman swords preserved for nearly 2,000 years.
Wow. Absolutely incredible.
Cool. So archaeologists in Israel have found a weapons cache from almost 2,000 years ago and 50 years after the second Jewish temple was destroyed. Scientists have labeled it as a sensational find, the discovery of 4 1,900-year-old swords, along with a pilum, a Roman javelin, and an Ian Getty cave overlooking the Dead Sea. And Dr. Eaton Klein of Israel Antiquities Authority Theft Prevention Unit told why the find is so sensational. So he was quoted saying they are very preserved, extremely beautifully. So we researched all the assemblage of weaponry. And for now, in this particular time of research, we assume probably that they are connected to some war or a rebellion that took place in the land of Israel during the 2nd century. And Klein explained the reason for the discovery's location. So they assume it was that the swords were taken as booty from a battlefield or they were stolen from the Roman army. And they were hidden in the caves in order to be reused for future rebellions and battles against the Romans. So, yes. Man. So that is the news. Some interesting stuff you won't hear on your local news. Really good. So we have to say our loser award of the month, or this broadcast,
drink vendors, and more. Families, kids, and pets are welcome. For more information, Tower Grove
Has to go to the ACLU for fighting Texas on not treating minors that will ruin their lives later.
Here he is, the biggest douche of the universe. In all the galaxies, there's no bigger douche than you.
I apologize for nothing.
So yeah, stop doing this to the kids under minors. Stop. It's got to stop. As far as, my opinion, mine alone, it's got to stop with the underage minors. They can wait. They can, if they want to decide that they want to transition, then, let them be old enough, their bodies develop to do it. Anyway, that's all on that one. But thank you for joining me. Yeah, it was very cool. I appreciate all your support. Please subscribe to the lsfl4u YouTube channel. And I believe for some reason I was suspended on Twitter, X. Why? I don't know. Who knows? I could have hit something. They don't like what I do. Maybe. I don't know, because it's not. I don't know what I did. I didn't even follow up with it. Why? But I apologize for that. Whatever. I'm done. Whatever. Who knows? But I must have done something or said so. Who knows? That they watch and they censor you and they shut you off. Hopefully YouTube will never do that. I don't know. I don't think I do anything that horrible, to be honest with you. So, I don't know. So anyway, oh yeah, I wanted to say, since, I'm in St. Louis here, Adam Wainwright won his 200th game as a Cardinal pitcher. Now I think he can happily retire. I think that's the only reason he came back. Get that on his his retirement. Get that on the records, and that's awesome. though. That's good. I'm glad he got it. So I think now he can say, you know what? That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get it, and he came back and got it. So that's awesome. So anyway, we're going to be back with Bible group and another topic for a Bible. I don't know what it will be yet, but I got a couple in mind. And please, if you're suffering from any addiction, abuse, codependency, hang-ups, anger, fear, whatever it is, get into a group. Connect in a church. Get into a group like Celebrate Recovery. Wonderful. It is a blessing, and it will help you. And there's so many people out there. You're not the only one. You're not alone. You are not alone with problems and things you're going through. If you have addictions, like I said, and the groups are out there and they can help, and it's a blessing. Please connect with one. Please connect with a group for support. So anyway, thank you very much. It's been a blessing to do this. Like I said, please subscribe to the channel and your support. I've got rings. If you want to go on my Facebook page of the same, lsfl4u. My website is msavio, I think it's 66.wix.com/life skills for life. Spell it out. And I got a website. Maybe I might try to change the name of the website, shorten it. I don't know. It's been that way for a while. So I am coming up, I believe, on my 5th year to do this soon. Coming up. just four, you know, it's going to be coming up on 5 years. I've been doing this. I think I've come a long way. I think I've, gotten better. I pray, and I've been blessed and to do it. And, so it's just really nice to be able to do this, something different, and that maybe no one else is doing on a channel. This isn't not a political channel. I'll, announce my faith and my Christian. I'm a minister, ordained minister. I would never push it, but things are happening in this world that we need to make a choice, need to make a decision. If you look around and see what's going on, it's important before it's too late. So anyway, please take care, slow down, be courteous, take care of one another. See, people we've gotten just like getting worse and killing and out of this and things just are happening. Things are happening. So be ready. Make a choice and be ready. You never know what the day or hour is going to be. So anyway, I really appreciate watching and listening. And if you have any comments, suggestions on topics, anything, please send them in. Like I said, I just research this stuff and look it up and try to give you the best truth that I can find about the topics I talk about. That's it, pretty much. And I enjoy doing the positive, the alternative to what we're sensitized to on a daily basis. Hopefully, eventually, I'll have guests. I've got shirts in the makings, hats and mugs, and that's still, of course, in the process. It's slow, but it's getting there. I'll get there pretty soon with that. So anyway, and I'll be posting samples of what is available. So if you'd like to order something or have something made or whatever, and order something that I make, feel free. So once that's done, we'll start getting that going soon. I'm going to start getting that going real soon. All right. So anyway, I guess I'll stop blabbing. It's 8:30. So thank you so much once again for joining me. And thank you for tuning in, watching. And this has been a blessing. That's for sure. So just be careful out there. And fall coming up this weekend. Can't believe that. It's fall already. October, Halloween, nice sleeping weather in the Midwest and most of the North and through the Midwest. Man, drops. So the weather's starting to get cooler. Definitely, I see the birds taking off. Birds are starting to migrate. I noticed things like that too, and I watch for whenever it's coming soon. The birds, I believe, are starting to migrate. So anyway, please pray for Hawaii. Please pray for Israel. Your family, your friends, your job, your money, the blessings that you have. Be thankful. Our kids, as parents, grandparents, pray, pray, pray. So anyway, it's awesome. All right. So anyway, that's all I got. I guess I wanted to say. And okay, so yeah, I'm actually, and I wanted to say I'm not a reaction video thing. I don't do reactions. When I do talk about music, it's music history, things that happen, background stuff, and about different things like that. I just don't listen to a song and make faces and you know and not know what I'm talking about. Not all of them, but some. I just what they don't know anything about the bands they listen to. They don't do any research. Why don't you do a better, look into it more, what you're doing. And there's some out there that really do. They're professional singers, um, musicians, conductors, that actually do them, that really dive in and can explain the structure of songs, notes and patterns and tempos and dynamics, and can really get into that. There's a few that actually, some just listen to a song and just have no clue about effects on guitar, or what the effects in the studio are doing, or they just act like they have no idea what's going on. So anyway, not knocking any of them, but really, just get into, find some that really know what they're professionally doing or have done it, like actual musicians. That's all. And that can maybe explain what the song means to them, or what the song's trying to say, because song is stories. It's a method of communication, communicating something, of feelings. And music is just a powerful tool that God has given us. And like I said, in heaven we praise and sing in heaven. So anyway, okay, enough of that. So anyway, go see a show if you can afford it. go see some local bands if they're out. Go see some entertainment. It's got to come back. Go enjoy things again, and hopefully we'll see a new movement in music, and we'll get back to being musicians and not relying on pre-programmed instruments doing everything for you. Actually enjoy playing again. Just don't rely, and anyway, technology is just incredible. But at the same time, I think sometimes it kind of takes away from the feel. It takes away, like drums. You can tell if they're live drums or programmed a lot, and it just, for me, being older, maybe it's just not the same. It's not the same. And I've even thought about getting a set of electronic drums because I'm old and I'm tired of dragging all this stuff around. And I even asked the guys when we did get together, it's like, hey guys, I'm seriously thinking about getting an electronic drum set. What do you guys think? You know, and I think most of them were, well, drums are drums, man. You got to have drums basically. And I said, yeah, but boy, I got to lug all that around. I got to break it down. At the end of the night, I'm tired as it is. Then I got to break all that down and lug it all out. I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Definitely. We'll see what happens. Who knows? I might be done, fully retired from it. Who knows? Every day's different. Who knows what'll happen? I don't, you know, count my blessings. All right, now I've rambled on too much. Once again, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it, and all the support. And God bless. See you soon. And we'll be back with another Bible study on a topic. And we're just going to keep chugging along with positive news, feel good things, and topics on life, faith, family, career, health. Maybe I'll come up with a career or job topic on, or something like that. Yeah. So anyway, take care, and we'll see you soon. And have an awesome night and a good weekend. And we'll see you soon.